Hey everyone, today I'm gonna talk about what is, in my opinion, the most underrated video game studio. And this is my best attempt at drawing their logo. We'll get to all the games they made and why I think they're underrated, but allow me to start from the beginning. So, when I was a kid, I was playing on my Super Game VCD 300. And for the 99% of you who don't know what a VCD is, well, this is the console, that is the controller, and this is the type of game you could play on it. No, I wasn't born in the 1850s, it's just the best I could find. I didn't know what PlayStation was, weird, I know, it's a long story, let's move on. So anyway, as I was playing, like usual, my uncle came in and said, enough of this caveman face, please. And he handed me a PSP with 3 games. So at this point, the most fun I've had with the game was with Control. And let me tell you, Elden Ring is a walk in the park compared to this. Like nothing made me feel weak like this game did. I played it day and night and couldn't get past the first level. You could say I was getting really fed up with my PCT, so imagine how happy I was with getting a new console. So I opened the PSP up and the first game was Everybody's Golf, which was disgusting, like I haven't played it for more than 5 minutes. The second game, Ultimate Ghosts and Goblins, was a bit more fun but still meh, like I will still go back to Contra before playing these 2 games. But the third game, Dexter, well, that game was life-changing. Now, when I first started playing, I wasn't completely blown away or anything. I knew 3D games existed, I've seen one before. I saw my neighbor once playing Dragon Ball God knows what on his PlayStation 2, which again, at the time, I didn't know what it was called. Again, it's a long story, I don't know why I didn't ask him. I was just a kid, let's move on. But once I've played through the first few hours and seen the city, the world building, the atmosphere, the setting, I was hooked. Like, I can't tell you how addicted I was to this game. It still is the best platformer I have ever played. And no, it isn't just nostalgia, I went back and made sure of it. The game had everything. Aside from the things I mentioned, the game had 10 out of 10 combat system that rewarded you each few hours with something that changed how you approached encounters and even movement. It had amazing unique areas, very creative puzzles. You could melt things, blow things up, you could fly and jump on beds, like this game had it all. You could sleep in this small PSP spin-off game and dream of mini games themed around famous movies like The Matrix, Braveheart, Lord of the Rings and whatever this is. There is an area in this game that you could go to, and it's this beautiful garden where you could chill, drive a bike, I'm calling this a bike, and kill some enemies. I think you get the point. Getting bored playing this game was impossible. It was so unbelievably creative and out of the box. Fast forward a few months, I'm still playing Dexter of course, but I wanted to get a new game. And as I'm looking through the catalog, yes, you had to choose your game from a catalog in the store. There was no cell phones, no YouTube, no trailers. I assure you again, it wasn't the 1850s, I just didn't have it. So, as I'm going through the catalog, I see a picture of this shadowed man with 2 cool-looking blades and chains hanging from his hands. Understand that I had to judge games based on just the cover picture. I couldn't even use the title because at the time I didn't speak English. And if I chose a bad game, I had to live with it for like a month at least. So this had to be a very precise decision. But the cover of God of War Ghost of Sparta represented everything I wanted to be in life as a 10-year-old. It was an obvious choice. Yes, I played God of War when I was 10. I still have some traumas, but it was worth it. And let me tell you in short, it is the most mind-blowing God of War game to date. Wait, hear me out. God of War 2018 or Ragnarok are two of the best games ever, but you expect them to be good. They are developed by one of the best game studios, some of the best people in the industry working on them. Very high budget games. But with Ghost of Sparta, well, it was developed for the PSP by an indie studio, on what is safe to assume much less staff and budget. I'm not saying it is the best, I'm just saying it was so mind-blowingly good, because despite all that, this game added so much depth to the story and lore of God of War, it's unbelievable. I don't want to talk too much about this game because maybe one day I'll make a video about it, but you see some of Kratos' childhood. You meet his mother and find out he has a brother, Deimos, who was kidnapped because Zeus heard the prophecy that a marked warrior will bring the destruction of Olympus. Deimos had a distinct birthmark, so he kidnapped him. And Kratos got his tattoos in honor of his brother's birthmark. So you get to see Kratos' brother, fight him, then fight with him. But also, you get to see Sparta, Kratos' home. Like the story was on another level. The gameplay was amazing. I mean, of course it's a God of War game. But what was special is the arms of Sparta, the former weapon of Kratos, from when he used to lead the Spartan army. This weapon was used for both long and short range, was extremely fun to play with, and there is nothing like it in the series. And just as a side content in the game, you get to learn that the Gravedigger is in fact Zeus. And not only that, but you get to play as it. You get to play as Zeus in a small God of War PSP game. Like Dexter, so unbelievably creative and out of the box is the least you could say about this. Naturally, the first thing you could do after playing a game like that is go and pick up another God of War game. This time titled The Chains of Olympus. And here, Kratos sacrifices reuniting with his daughter to save the whole world. That sentence alone can tell you this is an amazing story. And again, the gameplay was top-notch, with weapons like the Gauntlet of Zeus and the Shield of the Sun. As I said, maybe I'll make a video about the God of War PSP games, so I'll leave it here. But I think what I said is enough to make this yet another unbelievably creative and out-of-the-box game. These three games were mainly developed by the same indie studio, Ready at Dawn. All the amazing, brilliant ideas, well-thought-out stories that weren't just good in their own right, but also lived up to the big franchises they were made for. The fun gameplay that exceeded the limitations of the PSP. All these three games were made in the span of 4 years. The studio for sure doesn't get nowhere near the credit it really deserves. This studio, by the way, developed the Order 1886. And look at this game. This came out in 2015. The graphics hold up to this day. The gameplay was fun and the story was good. It had only one problem. It was too short. This problem looks like it unfortunately led to Sony parting ways with the studio. They continued to put some well-received games and it was acquired by Oculus in 2020. And now it is working on apparently a new AAA third-person action console game, based on a brand new original IP. To close this off, I want to thank Ready at Dawn for putting out some quality games that obviously were made with so much care and so much creativity, and also for making a good part of my childhood. So yeah, this is it. I hope you enjoyed and thank you for watching.